I'm Eva O, and this is the Teakink podcast. I've been a dominatrix since 2011, and I would like to spill the tea on my life. Thank you for listening.
Welcome back to the Teakink podcast. Today we have Will Charmer, an escort based out of Sydney, Australia, although we are currently both touring Melbourne, Australia.
Yes.
I assumed that Will lived here, so that was my bad. But anyway, it worked out. He was very kind to also bring me a ring light.
Yep.
All the way from Sydney. But thank you for being so charming, just like the name.
Thank you.
So how long have you been an escort for?
Not long. It's about 12 months, give or take.
Oh, that's long enough to collect some information.
Plenty of information. When I started, just because I thought it would sound better to obviously have experience, I just was very, like I told people that I'd
been doing
it for a long time, but it was like not true.
Do you remember your first booking?
Yes.
How was it?
It was very good.
How was the process actually? So did you throw up an ad?
I put up an ad, yes. And then I also was on social media talking about this job that I really didn't have much of an idea about.
But you made it out to seem like you did?
Yeah, I just felt like, it's funny, like when I started doing this and when I discovered this world, like I really felt like I was made to do it. So I felt very comfortable. And even though like I had no idea, like no experience like at all, it just felt like a really right fit. So
did you feel that in the first booking?
I did.
I felt that in mine too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me about the first booking. What was going through your head? What made you think, oh wait, hang on, this really suits me?
My first booking was in Brisbane. I started doing tours pretty early because of I was on TikTok and I had a lot of interest in Perth, in Brisbane, on the Gold Coast. So that was in Brisbane, and yeah, I was nervous. I was really nervous, but my client, yeah, it was just the perfect client. She was just really, everything went really well. Yeah.
What makes the perfect client to you? For me, I think it would be responsive. I think that's it. As long as they are able to be receptive and move around. But I'm more of a dom, right?
Yeah.
So it's like I kind of have to create the theater and make us flow. But what was it like for you?
I probably wouldn't say responsive, because for me, yeah, I've found through doing this, like my role and what I do is just to, which is the same as you, like hold space emotionally, hold space. And I feel like, yeah, just my client, what made her so good was she was just there for, I don't know,
To engage.
To engage, yeah, sure.
Not too many blockages, perhaps.
No, yeah, it was very easy, it was very gentle,
yeah,
which I think was good for me for my first time doing this role.
Does it get not gentle?
Sometimes, but I don't know. For me, I feel like, again, feeling my way through this, understanding my role and my mission a little bit. I think gentle is a part of how I do what I do.
Okay. Your approach.
Yeah.
Okay. And what made you think I'm going to start putting up TikToks about being a male escort? Did you need a career change or
I did need a career change.
Okay.
And I was I needed to get out of my job. I was a tradesman.
Okay.
And I had my own business in Sydney. And I just got to the stage where I just wanted to change, and it was for me a very dramatic change, especially having nothing to do with this industry, because I came from a very religious, I grew up in a cult, very strict religious, sex was taboo.
So from
shame.
Childhood?
My whole life, yeah.
Your family, your parents?
Yeah, everyone. Yeah, I'm also married, so my wife and I were in that together and grew up in that together.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you marry whilst you were both in it?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you talk about what it was or what the values were within it?
Loosely like a Christian-based
Mm-hmm.
cult. So Christian values, Jesus, Bible,
Mm-hmm.
but quite controlling.
And what made it a cult to you? Or how do we define it?
It really...
Controlling?
Very controlling and like very discouraging and dominating against like honestly having your own thoughts and opinions and free thinking and questioning things and like everything from like money to like where you live and it was pretty crazy.
And so you started moving out of that. Why?
It was when my son was born. I started thinking differently. It really woke me up. And I just didn't want...
You wanted something different for him?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we moved out of that and like deconstructed and had to deal with a lot of like religious trauma and which is something else that comes into play with my work. I find that I'm often there like to help. I feel like I'm a helper. I feel like that is, again, I didn't know that that's what I would do. I had no idea when I started this, like coming from that, like I didn't have sex until I was like married. So, to now doing this, that was a massive change.
Yeah. So we come from this very structured, rigid, controlling environment. We have like a big change when a new life enters and we have to think about protecting it, giving it the best possible way forward. You step out of that, you, I guess, are quite isolated then for some time.
Absolutely.
And you start building your own trades business?
Yeah, I had that happening the whole time.
Okay.
Yep. But we moved around a bit and we just had like a few years just to sort of find ourselves as a family unit, sort of apart from that community. And that was a few years.
But how do we go from I can't do this trades thing anymore to I'm going to reach into sexuality as a product?
Well, I was exploring because I never got to explore. I never really had that opportunity to, like, as we know, like sex is such a powerful thing modality to discover and to heal and to open yourself up. So I didn't really have that. I didn't really have that experience, and I was hungry to learn about it. I left Christianity. I went into a lot of Eastern philosophy, Taoism, and lots of other things. Yeah, and somehow I emerged over a few years with a real interest in sexual energy and how it can enhance life.
And I guess for me, why did I think the fact that it's decriminalized has really given me a lot of room to see it as an option.
Yeah.
I mean, the first time that I started thinking about this work was when I lived in Australia, and it was decrim in New South Wales.
Yeah.
And I also maybe didn't have as much of like I must do this thing now. But just because it was an option and it was something that I didn't have to go through an interview process for, that I could pick up on my own just to try, dip in, dip out. Were you face out from the get-go though?
What do you mean,
Like, did you have photos on your ad?
Yes, I did.
Wow, that's commitment.
I felt like I had to. I had to use anything I could to kind of get out there, and that's why I was vocal on socials and TikTok.
Yeah.
Like, I just wanted to connect with people. I just wanted to get my face out there and be seen.
It was like an affinity with sexuality that kind of gave you a potential option.
Yes.
To seeing this as a thing. Yeah, and so you do your first booking like a year ago now in Brisbane, not your hometown.
Yeah.
Do you do anything else that trip, or is that?
I had 2 bookings, so which was not a lot. Like I probably wouldn't travel that far for that, but I was hungry to get experience, and I was hungry to to grow and to learn, and I felt the empowerment that comes from it as well. And
For you?
Yeah, for me. Yeah.
How? What does that look like?
Confidence. Just like there's something there. Like, knowing myself more. I feel like this journey has allowed me a lot of that. self-discovery, because again, there was just a big part of me that wasn't allowed to breathe, to surface, coming from that cult.
So over the course of this year, like, can you remember where your mind was, say, a year ago, and its thoughts around sexuality or your expression of it, or what has this year sort of opened up for you in terms of realizations?
It was frustrated. And I also have a completely amazing, fulfilling sexual relationship with my wife, who's great, and that's always been really good and like a key sort of strength for us. But I still wanted to explore. I still wanted to discover, and it scared me because we, as a couple, for me to come home one day, I was painting a house, and I was painting this lady's house. She was being a bit cheeky, right? And we were talking about sex work. And at that point, I'd never thought of it. And she said, "You'd be really good at that. Like, you'd be you'd do well." Yeah, and kind of like you, I've heard you say.
My ex.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did she tell you why she thought you would be?
No. Very cheeky,
Just planting something.
Yeah, just a little seed.
Waiting for the ad to pop up.
Yeah, exactly. In other words.
Thank you.
Oh, so sneaky.
Yeah, it worked.
But unlike you, I sort of acted on it pretty quickly. I went home and talked to my wife straight away. I was like, "Babe, I don't know, I know this sounds crazy, hear me out." But I shared everything, and I looked it up, I looked into it. I thought I could do that so easy. I really backed myself, obviously, very confident.
What about it seemed easy?
I don't know. It's always been easy with me, I think, dealing with people, connecting with people. I love meeting new people, making people feel comfortable, like I said, holding space. And I did see it. I didn't understand it then, but I had an inkling this could be a vehicle to help people, which was important to me when I started. But I couldn't grasp it. What it turns out, I do that quite a lot. So it took a few months of just with her talking it through, holding space, talking, being patient, and we finally came to an agreement that could give it a shot.
Okay.
And then I added up.
What were her hesitations, and how does she approach it now?
She's come a long way. I think insecurity, just flat out insecurity, which, you can imagine, I've been married 12 years. So just us together, our family, it has been like a bomb, to be honest, in the best way. It has cleared out so many things that had needed to go, things that we were avoiding, things that we really didn't really want to, we were burying our heads in the sand a bit relationally. This has we have nowhere to hide. So it's been a blessing. It's been a huge blessing. Yeah. So she was very scared and insecure and all natural things, coming from, when you consider coming from where we came from.
And monogamous culture in general.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you monogamous?
Yeah.
The two of you?
Yeah, we are. We are. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And does she work?
No.
Do you think, has she ever considered sex work herself?
We've talked about it.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's off the table completely, but just naturally she probably wouldn't lean towards it.
Yeah. And when you talk about helping people, that being something that sort of has emerged, how do you feel that you're helping the clients?
So I didn't know what kind of clientele I would attract. I didn't know. I had no idea, and I thought it would be sex, and that's it.
Yeah.
I think that was quite naive.
Well, I don't know. You don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, you're just, you aren't. You have no information to go off of, and even I have a slightly different experience, right? Because it's the female versus the male escort experience, straight. And I've heard that when it comes to the male straight escort experience, it's a lot about the relationship building.
Yeah.
You have really long bookings.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes, often, you're traveling with them multiple days.
Yes.
And is that the case?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's not only you. I do hear that from others.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I realized that it's an emotional energy that I'm giving primarily, far more than sex. So my clientele that I feel like the way that I feel like I'm helping, I tend to attract, which I really enjoy, ladies that have, like, that feminine sexual energy is like dormant, dead, not activated, buried down, probably due to there's many reasons. Life. Yeah. Life, neglect, like relationship, like trauma.
Society telling them that shouldn't be a part of their desire and reality.
Yeah. Yeah, so I feel like when I hold space, like I hold space to help them sort of like activate that and feel sexual, feel confident, feel, it's often that sort of mature age group of ladies that just need a bit of space to be with a man, to feel sexy, to feel confident, to feel their energy,
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that is a very big a therapeutic service that I'm giving.
How do you hold that space? Do you have like a routine, or is it just who you are?
I think it's who I am. I don't really know the formula yet. Like maybe it will emerge, but yeah, for now it just happens again and again. And like you said, it might be a couple of days or repeat. It's bookings.
Reassure.
Yeah, it's very emotional. It's very emotional, which is hard for me because I have a family and I also have a lot of emotional responsibilities there.
How do you manage that?
I'm still learning.
Have you ever felt like it was too tiring, too much, like you had trouble putting them in their spaces?
Not yet. Like there's a part of me maybe, but like I do get like charged by it, like the interactions. Again, that's just why I feel like it was just a tailor-made role for me. Like it does give to me. It does give to me, But yeah, like my family is my priority, obviously. So that's something that I always will.
That's got you tethered. That's
Absolutely.
Lovely. In a way, because when I first started, I didn't have that. I didn't have any responsibilities really in my late 20s, and except for myself, roof over my head, eating, and that on one hand opens up a whole world of possibility, but it also means you can get very chaotic. And I went very, very chaotic for a while, like really testing the limits of how intimate I could be with my clients, how far I could take those relationships and lose myself in the job and let the job overtake me. And it's at a much better place now. Now I can quite contain like my booking, and it might take some time to sort of resurface because I do put a lot of energy in and I love it, but I think I'm much more introverted. I don't take as much from it. I take a lot of creative satisfaction, but it always will take away my energy. Yeah, I'm a very solo sort of person, actually. Yeah. So I didn't really have a tether, like it sounds like you have. So I think that's been very helpful.
Yeah, I can see how it could easily get out of hand. And
it's addictive.
I feel that. I do feel that.
Yeah.
At times with the right person, you really click with them, and it feels great. But
you take them on a journey. You can go to places inside of yourself. You can create emotional states in you and them that you didn't realize was so like tactile and like able, and it's really quite a rush.
Yeah, it's magic, isn't it?
Yeah, it's magic, and it's
nice.
Biochemistry, and it's art. But where does the Taoism and the Buddhist philosophy sort of sit for you right now?
Yeah, I'm still quite rooted in that. I've obviously coming from Christianity, like I threw a lot of that away, but like I've since have, and this is my tendency, even in doing this work, I can see that, like, just to swing to the, like, overcorrecting, and you swing to another extreme, which I've done that many times in my life. So like I left the Christian thing, and then I just found a lot of comfort in, just simple wisdom with Taoism and Buddhist thought regarding happiness and suffering and things that I felt were very convoluted in Christianity, that it wasn't as direct as I've found it to be in the Eastern way of thinking. So that is still quite crucial to who I am.
How do you practice that? Do you read? Do you sit?
I read, I sit, I do all that. Yeah, I do.
Do you have like a Buddhist community?
I don't. I was a bit like scarred from the Christian community. I felt really used and manipulated, controlled. I think I left that community and that faith like thinking like I won't be controlled like that again. So like I am wary, although I know it's healthy and right and good. And
Why might it be healthy and right and good to connect with the Buddhist community? Well, I think of it in terms of the only community that I sort of really tether to, I don't know if you would call my family a community, but is the kink community. And even then, I think a lot of precautions need to be made, because I think I can be quite a giving person and a little bit naive in that people can be terrible. It's just not the way that I'm programmed, and I forget that very easily. And so on one hand, being in touch with the kink community is really helpful because it gives me a context and it can challenge the way that I think, and it can make me question things, and it can make me not feel so isolated and alone. But on the other hand, there are still shitty people everywhere, especially ones where they spot an opportunity within a weaker subculture. And you really have to be careful in how much of yourself you give. And so on one hand, there are some things to take from it, but it's really like you also have to be so careful. Yeah. But maybe that's everything. Maybe that's just life.
I think that's people. Yeah, I really gave myself in a big way to community. Like I'm a lot more guarded now. So I haven't really found my community. This industry and the people that I've connected with are amazing.
Yeah, do you have sex worker friends?
Yeah, I do.
We're sex worker friends.
Yeah, I've got you.
We chat.
And you for one, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But how did you connect with people?
Like I love like the power of social media. Like that's it, you know. That's and I didn't even have accounts prior to this.
Okay. That was probably also helpful though.
Yeah, it's been good.
Yeah, you don't really want that. Enables doxing and things like that much more easily. But is there a group of male straight escorts who meet up?
I'm sure they do, but I'm not in on that.
A WhatsApp group?
I don't know if I would be in that, even if there was one. But
why? What would make you hesitate around that?
I don't know.
I think I've heard of some in London for sure.
I'm sure they exist. I feel.
And then drama happens in them.
Oh yeah, it would. I feel like in Australia, I've reached out to a few guys, but I didn't feel like it was the energy was sent back quite right. So, but like with like ladies, like with females, like I have a few good friends that I just talk to and
debrief.
Nice. Yeah.
Do you ever spot any differences in the job or the approach or however when you're chatting with them, when you're debriefing? Is it always similar?
I think it's quite different. I feel like there's male privilege, you know, in doing this even.
What does that look like?
Like even that it's more accepted. I feel like I've found that's been my experience. Being a guy and
being able to be face out from the get-go.
Yeah.
Not have to consider.
That wasn't a thought to me. I don't know.
Yeah, because I guess the thing is once you've been a sex worker, it kind of cancels out a lot of future potential for you. But there's something that creeps up with straight male sex workers where it's like more like a pat on the back. It's like, hey,
Yeah, that's cool.
you're living the dream.
Yeah, that's it.
And like, they don't understand how difficult the job is because it's like, you're not attracted to everybody who walks through your door.
Yeah, definitely
and you
not.
have to really hold space and create an experience. It's a hard job. You're not just fucking everyone.
Yeah, no. Most guys couldn't do this. Like, most guys could not do this.
No way.
No way. No, they would not.
No
they would not.
way.
But funny to the thing, like, like if you face out and it might limit your opportunities. Like, from the get-go, I was like, I'm going to be Australia's #1 gigolo. I don't even care. I want as many people to see me, you know? Because I'm like, I can see potential. So
how do you do that?
How do you become
like,
that?
What does that look like? Does that just mean the most booked out one?
Oh, I don't know. Just
renowned?
Yeah, a household name maybe. But now that I'm traveling Australia, right? Now that I'm traveling, like, Australia's so small. I feel like I'll go to the airport. I'm in Perth or like I'm in Brisbane, and people's like, "Oh, I know you." Yeah, they see me like, "Oh, yeah." I feel like I could do that pretty easily. I know it's early days, but
have you done how do you plan for that to happen though? I think a lot of media coverage sort of is, I guess here's
linked up on a few
start.
podcasts.
Yeah. Do you reach out to people for that kind of thing?
I'm trying to think how we started talking. I think I sent you a message saying I really enjoy your show, not even thinking that you would get back to me.
Yeah. It depends on the tone of a message. But or maybe I asked if there was anybody in particular to chat to out here or something. I don't know.
I can't remember. It was a while ago.
But how do you feel about talking to people in the media?
I'm open. I'm very open to it.
You're open. You've done a podcast.
Yeah,
before.
I've done a podcast.
Just one?
Yeah, in Melbourne bunch of girls.
Okay.
Just recently.
What kind of things did they ask you? Is it similar to what I'm asking?
Not really. It was more. It wasn't face to face. I was over like
the internet.
Yeah, in the internet, that thing. So it's very hard to have a flowy conversation. But they asked me questions. They were just intrigued about the industry and me doing this, and it was good though.
Did they look like they wanted to make a booking?
Yeah. It hasn't happened yet, but I think it may.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think media is great because, again, I don't think this is like forefront in a lot of sex workers' minds, but like for me, it's very clear that this is for some people an essential like step in their, like, I'm just a link in the chain for like someone's healing journey, you know, like, you know, maybe like, I don't know, there's trauma, there's abuse, there's, I don't know what, like religious trauma, and people need a safe place. Ladies need a safe place to just be seen and feel sexy and just find themselves again. I feel like sex is a powerful thing to really help you find yourself again. So I feel like I'm doing that. I'm giving that space and that time to ladies. It's a service that should be talked about and
available.
Yeah.
But has it ever backfired poorly? Yet?
Talking.
No. This
the whole thing.
Yeah. Like, have there been any cases of? So, I think that some people are just better geared to being able to read situations, to being able to give others that space and create new ways of being out of an interaction. I think some of us have that skill. Some of us can learn a version of that skill, but it's a magic in some way. But it also means that for me, that you access such sacred spaces in people that they've been protecting their whole lives, that it can become quite inflammatory sometimes.
Yeah.
And people, especially in the early days of my career, I didn't know when to spot that and sort of take steps back and be like, maybe not right now, maybe you need to have professional help before we go any further.
Yeah.
So now I have some parameters around it, but I've had to learn that the hard way.
Yeah.
Because people will blame you for everything
Yeah.
that they've ever suffered because you're the first person to sort of see it.
Yeah.
Maybe, or to finally they felt like they could present it. But because you're not there 24/7 holding them, suddenly all this onslaught is because of you. Transference, I think they call it in therapy, right?
Yeah.
And so I guess my question is, I see and I recognize that you are good at this job and that you have that altruistic sense of being there for people, but at the same time, I guess maybe it's the tether and your family and things like this that have kept you out of my exploratory bullshit that went bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Has it ever, I guess, come back on you? Have anyone gotten attached in a way?
Oh, people have gotten attached, definitely.
That didn't work for you, though.
Yeah, like ladies have definitely gotten attached. Yeah, I expected that to happen. So, and I don't know if it's worked in my favor or not, but I've been open about the fact that I'm married. You know, I think for some people maybe that would deter them. But for others, like I feel like it's another layer of safety. They feel safe.
Okay.
Yeah, somehow, I don't know.
Well, I like it when my clients are married.
Yeah.
Because it means that they can't get too obsessed.
Yeah, see?
Yeah. So maybe there's some weird inverse thing that's happening.
I think so.
Yeah, they just don't have the time.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'm glad it's working out for you.
Yeah, so far. But I'm only just feeling my way through, you know. So I'm learning a lot.
Do you have regulars?
Yeah, I do. I have regulars.
Mostly in Sydney or everywhere?
Sydney, Perth, Brisbane. I've got a few. I've got quite a few.
Do you keep in touch via phone, like WhatsApp or whatever?
Yeah, text. You know, I offer like FaceTime calls as well. Like I'm often talking to people on my phone.
Okay. Charged?
Charged, of course.
Of course.
Of course.
You're on it.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's good. It was TikTok that helped me get some traction and good clients. Because like I put an ad up. It's probably just a male thing. You think, oh, I'm going to be so busy. I'm just going to put this ad up, take a few photos. That'll be easy. But I didn't get a call for quite a while. Like maybe like 5 or 6 weeks.
That's okay. Yeah. That's pretty good. Some people, it takes years to build up a reputation that women can trust.
And that's it. It's about safety and trust. And I feel like being a male escort, you need to build your brand and you need to, show that you are safe, because that's the primary thing that ladies need really to open up.
Did you realize that was no?
Nope.
You learned a few things. So you learned quite a lot in the span of a year, how healing things can be, what drives the psychology behind why people book you. And things started off as shorter bookings. Have you been traveling with anybody?
Shorter bookings, yeah. I do I do date nights. Like we go out for dates and we hang out and we often we'll either spend the night together or just like a few hours. But the longer format, I'm really like quality over quantity. So like I do prefer to spend like a few days, like a weekend getaway. Little holidays and little trips like are nice. That's probably that's the sweet spot for me. Just because I get more time to connect, because I'm an emotionally in tune and connect guy. So like for me, that's good. But initially it was just short little bookings, but I was like, I'm not
feeling it.
I'm not going to travel over there just to spend an hour with you. It's ridiculous. So
yeah. And what would you like the career to look like as Australia's #1 male escort?
That's crazy. That's a good question.
Or you're just along for the ride?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
I'm trying to, give my family a good life. You know, that's also.
Is this your main job?
This is my only job. It's my full-time gig now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I got rid of all my other stuff. I'm like, I just need to put all my energy here.
How quickly did that happen?
A few months. Once I got my first booking, and and then I got a few more. I could just see like this will work.
Okay.
I just sort of backed myself and just jumped in. Yeah, so I'm just trying to set my family up. Like I can't deny that like money, like I would have worked a 40-hour, 50-hour week being a tradesman, and like I can get more than that just in one evening. You know, once you start to do that, you realize the potential. Yeah.
Congrats. Do you have, I don't know, like a playbook or like a rules around engagement when it comes to your relationship and bookings? You said you kind of have had to explode a lot of latent things with your relationship. And that's interesting because like, I still haven't had a really long-term relationship with somebody aside from like friends or play partners who are genuinely comfortable with the job. Yeah. They might start off very backing me and then it peters out into something. So I see the value of my job and my place in the community far higher than what those people were able to bring to my life. So it's like, fine, we move on. But I guess I wonder what the negotiations look like, or if you have any parameters around that. I think for me, they situated it as work in their mind, but they didn't do that very clearly. And maybe I also... Actually, no, I always have very big conversations and clarity and transparency. So this is just them working through their shit, I guess. But yeah, have you had to have that conversation about, actually, this is where it situates and I'm not going to go overtime without letting you know, or this is what the job is like, or what has been the curiosity of your partner and how do you navigate that around the work?
Well, first of all, like, I don't know. I think if you weren't in a committed relationship and you got into this, I don't know, like, I just think it would be so hard to find that. I see, you know, a few other sex workers that I interact with. Yeah, like they're all, none of them, I don't know, have ever met any other ones that are married or in a long-term committed relationship. And like, I've been married 12 years, like, to me, that's like a big advantage that I have. I feel like, because I had that first, and that was...
It's a lot of foundation that's been built.
Big foundation. We've gone through so much, like, there was...
Leaving the cult.
There was the cult thing,
baby.
Yeah, all that, and many other things, but those are strengths, and even just the way I relate to women, like, I feel like it's an advantage that I've got 12 years worth of marriage there. So, yeah, that's I think that sets me apart in one sense. But it is, we do see it like a job, and she doesn't. We've decided, like, I don't really talk about what happens in a booking. Obviously, discretion from my clients is essential to the work. But yeah, we function best when we both understand that this is my job, this is work. Most of the time I'm touring, like I'll tour like a weekend, I'll have like a weekend tour, and then I'm home during the week. So
scheduling helps.
Yeah, it does. But like, say I'm running over on a booking, like, it's not really affecting me coming home. Like, I'm going to come home late, babe, you know, like, I'm probably in Perth or something like that.
Okay.
But local bookings, yeah, things can run over. And I've had my own business for a while, so, you know, I would work late all the time doing my other stuff. Yeah, we're still figuring it out a little bit, but I think we've got a good thing going on. Just being honest and transparent, which we've always practiced in our relationship. Yeah, has been a big foundation for us.
Do you also tell friends about what you do?
Yeah, I do.
How has that been received?
A lot of my friends are still connected to pretty staunch Christian beliefs. Some of them are more open-minded. Again, like, put my face out there. I'm an open book. Like, I don't really have much to hide. Like, I'm quite proud of what I'm doing. So some friends and family as well have not been okay with it. what can I do?
Leave them be?
Yeah.
Do they still talk to you?
Yeah, they do.
Do you like talking to them?
Yeah. They've made it known. They've made known what they think.
Yeah.
And
well, that's family, isn't it? It's like
Yeah.
sometimes you don't agree, but you choose to be with each other.
yeah. Yeah, both my parents don't really agree with it, or my sister. Yeah, a lot of my family don't. I've got a few family members that are like, my biggest supporters.
I don't know if you've listened to that episode, but I really thought I was going to be disowned.
Yep. By mum?
When I was going to tell my mother.
Yeah.
Because she's also very Christian.
She's quite religious too, I remember.
She teaches like at Bible school, women's Bible school.
Yeah.
And she works at a Christian school and things like this. But she obviously leans on compassion more than judgment, perhaps.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, and it's interesting also to see her mind move over the years, because she is, I guess it's where I get it from. She's very open to hearing an argument and will be convinced if it's sound. Yeah.
That's such an amazing thing that is rare.
Yeah, she does. I guess it's humility, maybe, right? It's not being
definitely part of it. So proud.
Yeah. Holding on to a facade that must be. Yeah, it's quite beautiful to see somebody who's older than you and so consistently be able to change and be open to life.
I think that's one of the most valuable skills you can have as you kind of journey through life, like being open to put things on the table and say, is this still true? And it's not that, like, you change, like it might have been true in that last chapter, but like we've had to do that a lot, just, reconfirm what we believe, and this needs to go, oh, this is good, this will stay, that needs to go. I think that's such a good skill that a lot of people, often as they get older, get more stuck into what you believe.
Yeah.
So good on your mum.
I guess also as I'm getting older, I'm realizing that it's really precious to not get stuck. Yeah. I think it ages you also.
I think it does.
Yeah. I mean, I'm 40 now, and it's still fairly young in my mind, but I can already tell, because I hang around with a lot of people in their early 20s in the scene, and however, I can already tell that if I look at some people who are older and you just see their being has just become like stagnant and they're almost ready to die.
Yeah.
And it's just like, but if you still remain like you're new to life, there's so much more runway for you.
Yeah.
And it's an interesting thing about aging and the lies that we're telling ourselves all the time. And like your clients about their sexuality, about the way they should express themselves or not. Yeah. I mean, I guess it depends a lot on branding also, because I also escorted and I do a version of that now. But I can't say that you get so many male clients who are wanting to lean into their self-expression. I think they're very heavy on the sexuality, and then they can get there. Yeah. But I guess that's also another dialogue that they've been told. Yeah. So, but Australia's the next number one escort. Yeah. Is there anything that's sort of come up for you in this time, or is there anything that you sort of would like to roll off on as we go into your second year of the job?
I don't know, like I'm so
open.
Open, and like just to what you were just saying, Eva, like Taoism taught me a lot about that, about not like being like water and not being set on things. That was eye-opening.
Freedom.
Yeah, majorly. When the penny dropped for me regarding that, like I felt liberated, and so like I do approach this with that same kind of idea. I'm very open to how this will unfold. Like I have plans and I have things I want to do, but at the same time, my hands are open.
Happen to you.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do.
It's an interesting balance also, because on one hand, I've been very, very water, and when you don't like put some notches in about what maybe your value set might be or how you should be careful, it can go to that other extreme, right?
Yeah.
And so I guess it's just a constant, like figuring out of what works for the day and relooking, as you were saying, about what truth might be for now. Yeah, but that takes energy and effort, and I think that's what scares a lot of people off from doing that. So how do we go about figuring out how we make them feel more comfortable with that way of being? I think a lot of this podcast is about that for me.
Yep.
You know, presenting all of these different ways of being and showing that I'm also quite vulnerable on this thing, and I'm also changing my mind. And I think a lot of why I bother doing this is just trying to add that perspective into, you know, let's try to make life a little bit more free for ourselves, perhaps. But
you do that well.
Thank you.
And that's what these conversations are so good for. Like, they're so important. Like, what you're doing is so important. Just to, just offer just a little perspective that someone might take a hold of and see things differently. And
seems to be working.
Yeah.
I'm happy for that.
Yeah.
I mean, brought you here.
Brought me here. Brought my light stand here, my light ring, which is very helpful right now.
Oh yeah, the light has shifted. But thank you so much.
My pleasure.
And it sounds like you're doing amazing.
I'm trying.
And that the market is very lucky to have you. And I mean, you should book Will Charmer in so that he continues on his ascent to that title. So thank you for listening, and speak with you next time.